We're back here on the Sports Geek with more golf predictions and best bets after the Travelers and a very exciting finish on Monday. We've got an event coming up this week, TPC Deere Run, the John Deere Classic in Silvis, Illinois, which is between Illinois and Iowa. This event doesn't have, Joe, the usual star power, the usual big names, because it's a little bit of a bye week for a lot of the big golfers that are traveling overseas for the Scottish Open. But interestingly enough, I found this. The winner has come from a playoff or a one-stroke victory 17 times since 2000. So seemingly could be a pretty dramatic event, despite not really having that usual big-name power and prowess that we get from a lot of these events during the PGA Tour.
Yeah, it will certainly be a fun event to watch this one, Joe. But like you said, we've only got 6 of the top 50 in the world in this event. I suppose what that does do is open it up to a wider pool of players with the opportunity to win here. We have actually had sort of quite a lot of breakthrough wins in this event. Jordan Spieth won this in 2013 when he was a 19-year-old. Bryson DeChambeau nearly won this when he was an amateur all that time ago as well. We've had the likes of Davis Thompson, JT Poston. So we can have a lot of breakthrough winners in this event. Like I said, really, on the basis that the course is set up quite easily. It's 7,327 yards long, which could generally be quite a long course, but the way it's set up, it actually plays a lot shorter. It's quite tree-lined, a short course. We've got bent grass greens here, Joan, for anyone that likes to dive in and, find their own selections after hearing what I've got to say. If you look at events like the Sony Open, the Charles Schwab, and the Memorial at Muirfield, they are sort of correlating greens. They also have sort of bent grass. But yeah, look, this is going to be a bit of a shootout. Basically, whoever's going to be best with their wedge and the putter this week is probably going to fare best. We have actually had a 59 scored here twice, once back in 2010. Well, I can't remember who that was, but in 2024, we had Hayden Springer carded a 59 here. So you need to expect real low scores. And the way I've got my squad this week is I've got the first player that came to mind. I then have a player who needs to play well this week. And then I've got a player who I think suits this course really nicely. Because to be honest, the value isn't there. I like difficult courses, Joe. That's where I can really dissect it and find edge with players. But here at TPC Deere Run, I'd say 80% of the players that are coming here this week are going to think they've got a chance of winning it, which tells you how open this event is. But look, the 3 that I have landed on, I do think are going to have a really good opportunity. But ultimately, point and shoot. Who's the best wedge player? Who's the best putter this week anyway?
So before we do get into those 3 picks, and you just pointed it to there that you want guys that have really good wedge plays, you want guys that are really good putters. Is there any more like specifics to that, like any thresholds that you're looking at for the difficulty of this course for your picks?
Well, to be honest, Joe, no. However, what I can say is that when I talk about, finding the best wedge player and the best putters, I wouldn't suggest just going to the stats and seeing who's been best over the season, because it is important with stats to dissect them a little bit. A lot of the players might be putting better at longer courses. Their approach shots might be better at shorter courses. You really need to sort of hone into, what sort of courses, brings out the better stats, which is crept them up the leaderboard effectively, because you might find, this guy's in the top 10 with his wedge play this week. But if it's not at courses, where they're getting their wedges out 80-90% of the time, it becomes completely irrelevant. So it's a bit of a difficult one to hone in on, to be honest, this week, Joe. But ultimately, I think our squad's going to have a good chance. But when we get to more difficult courses, that's when we can sort of look at the more intricate details, really, more than anything. Look, if you're going to go on stats all the time, you're going to be backing the same players every single week. But
right.
There's not an element here where a draw player has a bias or a fader has a bias. Like I said, it really is basically pitch and putt this week. Who's on song this week is going to take the trophy. And that's why I've kept it small, just the 3 players this week, and we'll take our chance and see how we go.
So no overwhelming favorite for this event. Ben Griffin's at plus 1,500 right now. Chris Gotterup's at plus 1,600. But you're going with some guys that are a little bit longer odds. Let's start with Ricky Fowler, who you like at plus 4,000. He finished tied 18th last time that he was at the John Deere Classic. He also is coming off of a tied 38th finish at the Travelers and has 4 top 10 finishes in 2026. Why do you like Ricky Fowler for this event?
Well, this actually goes back to almost what I said, is sort of like finding the correlating courses and finding sort of intricate details. Now, if we look at Ricky Fowler's season, he hasn't been the most consistent. He's missed a fair few cuts. But between the RBC Heritage and the Truist Championship, he was tied 8th, tied 9th, and tied 2nd. Now, they were courses that really highlighted his approach play. The 3 events after that, he finished tied 60th at the PGA Championship. He then missed the cut of the Charles Schwab, missed the cut of the Memorial, missed the cut of the US Open. But again, if you look into that a little bit deeper, they're not really courses that highlight wedge play specialists or putting specialists. So if you take a look at the form that should correlate best to this tournament, it is those 3 tournaments, and they happen to be his best 3 starts of the year. He's a very calm and relaxed player. He's a 6-time winner on the PGA Tour, and he is a player that's starting to look like he is slowly finding his groove again. He looked way off it in the last few seasons, didn't look like he was going to get himself back into the winner's enclosure. He now seems much more comfortable with his golf swing again. I think he comes here looking like a player that's just starting to trend back in the right direction. So for me, he is going to be my initial selection for this week. Like I said, no intricate details with regards to shot shape or anything like that. Very good wedge player, though. I don't see what should go wrong for Ricky Fowler this week. He should be able to get competitive here. He'll see this as a big opportunity, Joe, as well, because he's probably not looking at the Open and the PGA Championship thinking, I'm in with a real chance here. But he's one of the standout players this week, and you're getting pretty decent value for it as well. So whilst he's trending back in the right direction slowly, I think he's the one to side with. His effort last week at the Travelers was fine too. He finished on 10 under par, 4 rounds in the 60s. He's in good shape to be able to do that. I think now could be the time to catch him.
So you've got another guy who's at plus 4,000 odds to win the event with Andrew Novak. He was tied 7th last year at the John Deere. Yeah. He's also coming off of a top 30, a 30th, tied for 30th finish at the Travelers. He's got 1 top 10 finish in 2026. What are the reasons why you're backing Novak here as your second pick?
Sure. I mean, form isn't necessarily something that really worries me about players. Like you said, he's got a couple of missed cuts and then that tied 30th. But he, for me, if you mark his attributes down on paper, he would be, for me, the best course fit really in the entire field. No issues whatsoever off the tee. And this week at the TPC Deere Run, it looks like the greens are going to be quite soft. Now, Andrew Novak's got one way of playing, and it's attack, 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 attack. He's going to go pin hunting this week. And his iron play has not been the weakness in his game this year. It's actually been off the tee. But like I said, around this course where you don't really have to put much emphasis on what happens around the tee, it should be no worries for him at all. He should come here feeling comfortable. And with wedges, 9 irons and 8 irons in his hand, he's going to attack these holes, these pins wherever they are on the greens, and probably be able to shoot a low number. I think if there was a player that wasn't in contention this week out of my 3, I would be really disappointed if it was Andrew Novak. There's nothing not to like about his game here. He's got that previous form here, and when you match his attributes to the course, he should be able to post some really low numbers here. Nothing not to like about Andrew Novak.
And lastly, Matt Wallace, you've got it plus 4,500 odds. He did not participate last year in the John Deere, but he is coming off of a second place finish on the DP World Tour at the Italian Open. He's also got 3 top 10 finishes in 2026. Despite not having a lot of history at this course, a tough course, why do you like Wallace in this situation?
Yeah, so this year and last year is a really, really important couple of seasons for Matt Wallace. He made it quite apparent that his aim is to get himself back into the Ryder Cup team for Adair Manor next year. Now, to do that, he has to get himself back in the winner's enclosure. He is a PGA Tour winner already, but last year got himself back into the winner's enclosure on the DP World Tour as well. Now, if Matt Wallace wants to get himself back into that Ryder Cup team, I personally think he needs to get himself a win on the PGA Tour this year, and I think he knows that as well. We've obviously seen Aaron Rai turn himself into a major championship. That's probably bumped him ahead of Matt Wallace in the rankings. Now, it's a busy time for Matt Wallace. He knows this as well. Like you said, Joe, he was second in the Italian Open, a real nice return to form. As we speak, he's also playing in British Open qualifying at West Lancashire here in the UK. As soon as he's finished that, he's straight over to America. So it's a constant sort of week of golf for Matt Wallace, but he's doing it with pure intent. He knows he needs a proper finish. well, he needs a win, Joe. He has to get a win this season if he's going to be in contention for a Ryder Cup spot. We've seen him go well this year. He was second in the Texas Open, the Valero, on a score of 16 under, and we know he can go low because he shot 20 under in the Zurich as well. Whilst his game has returned to form like we saw it last week in the Italian Open, with all of that intent behind Matt Wallace's game, I like where he is at the moment. He's got a proper plan to get the job done this year. This is a proper opportunity for him. And what looks like a weaker, PGA Tour event, as we mentioned, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to come out on top here. His putting hasn't always been his greatest strength, and he is going to need that to fire this week. But he'll give himself loads of chances. People are going to miss putts. Yeah, I like Matt Wallace this week. He's there for a reason. I think he's going to give us a good run for our money.
Folks, do us a favor, comment below, who are you backing for the John Deere Classic? Hit the like button on this video as well, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future fantastic analysis from Ginger Joe, who's our golf expert here at the Sports Geek. We'll catch you on later this week with more analysis and breakdowns. Enjoy the rest of your week.